Just the only deviation really is building the bunker on the low ground before the command center. He's still going into the Cyclone, he's still adding in a medevac, and once that Cyclone is out, I think he should be very capable of taking down this gateway. Trigger has been building quite a couple of units over here, 2 Stalkers and an Adept. Marines alone could not deal with this, but the Cyclone's going to make this just so problematic here for Protoss.
Oh, okay, he takes it out, and this is where you have that infrastructure push. This is the problem.
Ooh.
Okay, he actually gets the, oh, you know what?
Wow.
If you lose the Cyclone, you've lost everything. Basically, the Marines are here to kind of be a meat shield, and then the Cyclone, it's basically superior at fighting compared to the Stalkers, but that shut down. Anyways, what I was saying a second ago is that you see this infrastructure push, right? This is where you're going to hit the gateway in the middle of the map, and a lot of times you can push after that, but Trigger had a pretty big victory there. He basically fought back really well, and now Trigger has to try to stay active out here. He can try to shark around the map as much as he can. He's going to take a third base, so he's not committed into like any kind of 4-gate, let's blink in the main with a Warp Prism, let's try to end the game that way, which I think would have also been a fine way to play. But instead, he's going to go for a macro play. He's going to try to defend that gateway as much as possible. He's going to get a third gate, a third Nexus up is what I meant to say. But, you know, the drop could be very punishing. This will at least force a recall.
Yeah, is there going to be a recall available in the main base? How much energy does Trigger actually have? Medevac now flying into the main. We do have enough energy for a recall, so those Blink Stalkers, the 2 Marines is getting left out here. Unfortunate for them, weren't even able to take down a probe.
Yeah.
And Trigger's going to be taking a third base. He has charge coming online. Honestly, I don't mind his position much at all. I feel like Cure losing the Cyclone there when he pushed into the gateway with all those Stalkers and the Adept. That should have been a win for Cure, but the Cyclone is just so important in that fight. Maybe it was a mistake not to push out before the medevac before he can, pick up units like the Cyclone to dodge the Stalker shots. But in any case, now Trigger has a lot of Stalkers here in the middle of the map, and Cure wants to push. He has 3 barracks. He has no third command center. But I don't think he's going to be able to get there. He has too many Stalkers that and the blink forward by Trigger, able to snipe 2 shot that siege tank.
I don't know why he's pushing out here at all. This is like a great way to basically lose the game, is to like siege up with a tank and no, no way to get out, basically, right? Like, no stims done. Like, why would you move out now?
I feel like he just didn't expect Trigger to have quite so much, and maybe part of that is just it's been a really weird game.
Well, it's
right?
also, I guess he forced a recall. He thought, okay, you're not going to be here at all now. But like, when you have slow Marines and tanks sieged up, if you can't retreat, so like now you're stuck here. Now you have to like literally win or die on this hill.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit sloppy there by Kier. Kier's going to keep this Raven out here and just cast down auto turrets when he can. And it looks like Kier's also going to be elevatoring some of these units out to the blind spot just north of the main base here.
And maybe trying to intercept these Stalkers here, which have been given problems in the center of the map, as the Raven will fly back into the natural expansion. Deciding not to drop the auto turret this time. And the game's quieting down a little bit. Kira is still building up towards a push. Kira, oh man, doesn't quite get that medevac.
Yeah, nice save there. And he really wants to just kill this gateway off here. And so he's finally going to get it. Again, you know, we're far enough along in this game. This doesn't really matter. It's going to be a Zealot warp in here. Or, okay, yeah, it is going to be that. I was like, it's the old one Zealot worker harass.
Well, if Trigger's watching, might be able to dodge these Widowmine shots.
Is he going to get both? Nope, one hit away.
Nice.
Ooh.
Good micro by Trigger. And again, this is Kira's moment to push across the map and try and end the game, because he's still on 2 bases. There is no third command center here for Kira. Trigger has been on 3 bases for quite a while now, and he has been probing up. He is basically just hunkered down on all the mineral patches, and he's building an army to crush the push of Kira. And any seconds that he can buy is gold. And I think Kira might be realizing that his window right now is just closing. Trigger's been able to buy too much time, so he's going to throw down the 3rd CC.
Yeah, so he's going to try to do a push here, and this is going to get spotted. Trigger's doing a good job just fractioning these Zealots off and making sure he can at least see where the Terran army's at. And I think Trigger just wants to go in here for a fight. I mean, he should have enough, right?
Yeah, Widowmines don't even get to burrow. And the Zealots are going to peel right on back. Really good fight here for Kira, especially, or for Trigger, excuse me, especially having the Warp Prism here just to pick up these stray Stalkers with Blink on cooldown. And here's Trigger going to dive in again. Looks like he's antsy for a fight. Blinks forward, not quite able to snipe that Widovac.
Okay, so you got to be careful here, is Cure. There's enough Stalkers you can't just pick up, right? The Stalkers will blink under. Same time, you don't want to overextend. This is Trigger going on to his 4th base about to finish, where the 3rd command center is going to be landing soon. So, like, Trigger's looking really good. This is becoming one of those Protoss versus Terrans we saw a lot of last year in the RSL, where you kind of just grow and tell the Terran to figure it out. You just keep teching, you keep upgrading, and, you know, you don't really have to do anything to the Terran, because eventually you're going to be so big the Terran can't kill you. And so, and Kira in some ways put himself in this position by trying to be, I think, a little bit too in the Protoss's face post-failed proxy.
Another drop coming into the natural expansion here of Cure. Fire's going to stem back to try and deal with it. This doesn't create an opening for Trigger yet. He's looking for a position here between the natural and the 3rd base. Big stem. Oh, man, he's blinking on top of this right now. Able to focus fire down one of these siege tanks. Widowmine shot on the Zealots, on the Stalkers. And it seems like there might be a little bit too much bile here for Trigger to handle. Did he bite off more than he could chew?
Oh, my God.
With that blink, the Protoss army just collapsed.
Oh, my God. What exactly happened back there?
Well, Trigger's
It seemed like he I guess he thought he had the right angle, but, excuse me, Cure's so good in these moments. Trigger was basically winning for almost the entirety of this game.
Yeah.
And, you know, that one overextension melted everything that he had.
I mean, it was just the perfect fight there for Cure.
Yeah, and now the Terran's going to try to come and slice through this position, threatening the 3rd base while also being able to hit the 4th. It's over here in the top right.
Yeah, we're in a similar position to the previous game right now. Kira has the double starport pumping out Vikings. We have dismal upgrades right now, just +1 here for Trigger. And only 1 Colossus here in terms of the Robo-Bay units, so I don't know, man. Kira gonna be pushing in. Another big Zealot warp in. The Colossus is gonna fall to those next 2 Viking shots. I think Trigger might just be able to stabilize right now with the photon cannon and the shield batteries, but Kira has so much production, and there's not a lot of damage here with this Protoss army.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, Trigger has to hold this. He's going to sack all of his probes to tank damage. There's still enough. A few more Terran units trickle in. A Liberator sets up shop. A second one comes in here as well. The infantry are almost entirely thinned out, but the Colossus is now zoned away. The rest of the infantry are going to dive up to the north. They're going to hit this Nexus, and remember, the next target is just 1 screen away to the right.
And Nexus is going to get taken out. Kira equalizing the economies now.
Oh, he'd actually, I'm sorry, you know, I was watching.
He doesn't know.
I guess we saw that and I didn't register it in my brain. He doesn't actually know there's a base, so he might think that he's 3 base to 2 base right now. Yeah, okay, so he's just going to keep trying to take this fight. But man, if he spots that.
Blink forward by Trigger, able to take down one of these Liberators. He might even get the second one there on the
where did it
retreat.
come from?
The Zealot, yeah.
Zealot came like nothing to see here. Goes back. Now, did he actually... Okay, now he sees Zealots coming from that side. He should suspect there's something up there.
Yeah, I think he should have a very good idea that there's another expansion, but for now, he's going to be falling back, and Trigger's still just sitting... Okay, he does take a 4th gas. he's still playing a very low eco game, and the second starport really is going to cause some problems here for Trigger if Cure starts incrementing out Liberators, because Trigger has enough gas to get Forge upgrades, to get Colossus production constantly, being chrono boosted out of one Robo, but the fact that his Stalker count got reset and he has to remake it, it's a little bit problematic right now for Trigger. But economically, Cure, he's not in the best position. He is on these 3 bases, but as we saw there in the natural expansion, it is mostly mined out. The main is almost entirely mined out. And so economically, it's like 600-700 more minerals a minute right now for Trigger. Cure might need to lift one of these CCs. Okay, we know he does have one more finishing between the natural and the third.
Okay. Well, Trigger's going to try to stabilize here. He's going to send this Warp Prism in. There's actually Marines unloading right here. Well, this is funny looking. Okay. Well, Trigger's attack has been totally thwarted. And again, you know, now we're in the phase where there are a lot of Vikings coming out. I guess he's got 1 starport with a reactor, unless the second one is not active. But, you know, there's enough Vikings here. Look, I mean, there's like more Vikings than there are Stalkers on the ground. And, you know, while both the Colossus and the Viking are kind of slow units, I mean, the reality is the Vikings, especially with the larger terrain that the Colossus can't walk over, it's going to be a lot of damage on this Colossus. So he gets the second to last one. There's one more that just popped out that's remaining. But Cure's at like 170 supply. I think you can basically flood this position here. It doesn't really matter what the control is. You just are going to win a game of math.
Yeah, Cure had to muscle into this third base, and
yeah, GG. Wow. Okay.
Oh, that was a roller coaster of a game number 2, honestly.
I enjoyed it. Eventually, we got to get like you know, some kind of a recap thing here for RSL, because that's like a moment where I didn't expect the fight to be lost like that badly.
You mean the push into Cure's third base?
That push to Cure's third base. It just seemed like he leaned in a moment where it was like, he got his head bit off. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, that was a decapitation. It was pretty insane. And I kind of understand where Trigger was coming from, because he was playing a 3-gas style. And so, you know, we were talking about previous RSLs, the way that Protoss players would kind of expand across the entire map and they would fill out their tech tree and become all powerful. Trigger wasn't really doing that. He was still staying on a low probe count. He would just take the expansion so that he's always mining minerals efficiently. He was like 60-something workers, and he only stayed on 3 gas. So he can't afford Storm. He can't really afford a second Forge for upgrades. He's building a lot of Zealots, is basically what he's doing. And so he's angling for a timing attack, and he thought with the Warp Prism that he was opening up a window to do it. And perhaps he was, but Cure's positioning was just so good.
Yeah.
That Trigger could not break through into that third base. The entire army gets toppled, and that's game 2.
Yeah, that's game 2. Well, we're not done yet, guys. We have another game coming up. Hopefully 3 more if Trigger can turn this around. But first, guys, consider signing up for Patreon. It's patreon.com/ReviveSC2. We want to let you guys know we are going to stick with StarCraft 2 forever. We love this game. We think this game's incredible. And we want you to know that we'll always be here to create regular, high-quality content for you guys. We wanted to create something that wasn't just a good tournament, but also something that was well produced. We just did our first offline event in December, and that went amazingly. But we wouldn't be able to do it without support from you guys. That's the state the game's in. And so far, the support's been tremendous. So if you haven't signed up yet, we do hope we earn your support. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, Game 3 here with Cure versus Trigger.
Than 2 angles, at least 2.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the RSL. We are continuing on with Cure versus Trigger in this best of 5. Cure leading the series 2-0. I have Sturgeon joining me. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Some good StarCraft so far. Kind of one-sided in the results, but I think Trigger can fight back. He's done 2 unconventional openings here. We had the Phoenixes, which aren't really meta at the moment. Still maybe strong, and then the proxy gate that was found. I think we can see him fight back in this series.
Yeah, I hope he does, because whenever Trigger and Cure play, I feel like they're a great match for each other. Like, their games are very interesting. Trigger oftentimes does these very unique builds.
Yeah.
It's fun in PBT. You know, one of the games I saw him play versus Cure recently, he went like proxy 2 gateways, similar to the way that he tried to do in game number 2. But he did it while having a gateway in the main base as well. So we said 3 gateways before Nexus. It was, oh man, it was a blast. So I love the unique edge that he's bringing to PBT, and I want to see more of it. I want to go to a game 4. I want to go to a game 5.
Yeah, for sure. And I think once it gets into the mid game and the Protoss starts to take all those bases that we've started to see recently, I think Trigger's really, really strong at that part of the game. Whereas I look at Cure as someone who's kind of stronger in the first 5 to 8 minutes, you know, doing these early pushes. So maybe if Trigger can kind of ride out the early game, get into a good position, he'll be able to fight back here. The map is going to be Old Republic. You've got Cure down here in the bottom left and Trigger in the top right.
And I wonder what kind of opening we're going to have here from our Canadian Protoss player. As you said, Phoenix in game number 1, Proxy Gateway in game number 2. We haven't really had a standard macro game just yet.
Right. And Trigger's so good at playing standard, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that in game number 3 here. But of course, he has a ton of builds. He can do a ton of different things. And also, Cure might do something crazy. You know, we've seen him do Widowmine drops, standard Terran play, but he can pull out some wild stuff as well. Right now, it's just a single gas for him as he gets the barracks online. And same for Trigger at the moment, just getting that gateway up.
And just a 1 gate right now here for Trigger, sending that probe directly to the Terran expansion. So no more additional proxy gateways, unfortunately. So I would love to see really the idea of game number 2, which did not get executed because Cure was able to scout it so quickly. But in case Trigger is going to develop normally, and maybe that's going to bode better for him because so far today, the more unique wonky stuff just hasn't quite been it.
Yeah, indeed. I do think he recovered that really well. Like, getting your proxy scouted that early can be disastrous, but he still made it into a good game. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him play standard. Right now, we see these 2 SCVs trying to get rid of this probe so they can throw down the CC here. Nice dodge it, duking and jiving by that probe, but we'll have to eventually leave. Confirms the CC goes down, and we got a Reaper coming out here shortly.
Yeah, Reaper coming out, so that probe is going to scoot back home. As we have Trigger going for the expansion after Cybernetics, Corn taking a second gas. About as standard as it gets here for a PVT opening here from Trigger.
Yeah, let's see the tech soon. Let's see if he wants to go into Phoenixes or into Blink, which is, I think most Protosters agree that's the stronger build at the moment, is just Blink. You can be aggressive with it on 4 gates, or you can play slightly more defensive, get your 3rd quicker. You have some options once you do go into Blink, so we'll see what he's cooking up. Going to be a reactor down on the barracks here as well as the factory going up. Reaping out. Just goes past that shade, so he knows the Adept is in the main. Trigger actually finishes the shade.
Yeah, I'm surprised he finished that. The Stalker is about 60% done, but this Reaper, I think, is going to at least get a lot of mining time and maybe even a probe or 2. No, he is going to pull back. Doesn't want to test it.
Yeah, but I mean, even that's a little bit of damage, right? Pulling 5 or 6 probes off the worker line. Just for a moment there is a nice little move to get yourself slightly ahead. And we do see it's going to be the Twilight follow-up here, making more Stalkers, so more than likely going to be Blink here. And I'm glad to see this from Trigger. I want to see him play like 1 standard game and just see how it goes in this series.
Yeah, he's got some of the best Blink control in the business.
Yes.
Although he has been favoring Charge a lot recently in PvT. So it could be either. The way the minerals and gas are looking, though, I am leaning towards Blink just like you. We'll see how this is going to go. What is the tech going to be? It's Blink.
Oh, yeah, it is going to be Blink.
Okay.
That Reaper just surviving there. We'll run to the side of the map to survive, and there's an Adept in the mineral line here. Not much to get right now.
Yeah, Cure just going to be saturating that natural expansion in a moment as the orbital is all finished.
Yeah, we have a Cyclone follow-up here as well. That worked well in the last game, able to take out that proxy gateway eventually. Going to pick off a Marine here, and back up is the Adept. More Marines come down to the natural, so we'll be safe for the moment.
Yeah, and I think Trigger's going to be eyeing a 3rd base in just a moment as well. He's going into an additional gateway, adding in the robotics facility here on the low ground. He seems well postured to take another expansion, but I say that and he takes another gas. He throws down at the gateway. Maybe he's sniffing out a little bit of aggression here from Cure because,
Yeah,
it could go that way. He definitely wants to get this Reaper. Cure realizing that he's been trapped here, just going to dive in and get whatever information he can. He does see the additional gateway being morphed in.
Yeah, that's some nice info there, and the Adept's actually going to get into the main.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Season 4 finals of the RSL. I am Tasteless, joined with me is State. How's it going, man?
Feeling pretty good. It is Championship Sunday here for Season 4, and we have 3 series coming at you. Cure versus Rogue, the Mara versus the winner of that, and then Max Packs waiting in the grand finals. It's going to be an electric day.
It's going to be exciting, man. I'm looking forward to today's matches. It's going to be an extra long day, so if you're joining us live, thank you for being here with us. We've been restructuring the schedule a little bit to try to figure out how to capture the right number of games in the final day or two here. So we decided to start this one early and kind of spread it out, maybe build more viewership, build more hype, and really kind of focus in on the climax of the story here. So as you can see, it's going to start out here with Cure versus Rogue. Maru waits against the winner, as State was saying, and finally we are going to have max packs here in the finals. So, I got to say, for all the fear that we have online about, oh no, this race is going to do too well, right now we actually still have a Protoss, 2 Terrans, and a Zerg.
Yeah, it's
so
nice.
That golden ratio kind of comes back once again.
It's nice representation here in the top 4, and I think we're going to have some really fun matches, especially starting out, Cure versus Rogue. Rogue has been so exciting to watch so far in this season of RSL. He's playing a very aggressive, low drone style of Zerg.
Yeah.
And, I love Cure. I would love to see a Mara versus Cure match. But I want to see Rogue succeed, man. He's been the only Zerg in the RSL playoffs that's finding any success.
Yeah.
And I would love to see him go all the way to max packs.
Yeah, that would be super hype to have that here. Guys, we are sponsored by Archon Studio. They're the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game makers, and their products have been incredible. We've got them down here in the studio. I didn't know a whole lot about these guys when they reached out to us a year ago, and I checked out their website. Their stuff is amazing. They have totally done StarCraft justice with the tabletop miniatures game. It's like straight out of the cinematic cutscenes, straight out of the game. And we really appreciate their support and the fact that they have stuck with us.
We also appreciate your support. If you have not yet joined the Patreon, we invite you to join our growing community there. The RSL would not be possible without the support of viewers like you, and there are a ton of different tiers available, different perks such as voting rights for the maps, voting rights for the players invited into each season. You get replay packs as well. It's the complete package. Check it out, patreon.com/ReviveSC2.
Yeah, we can also... you can also check out our merch here. We've got all sorts of RSL merch. We've got hoodies, t-shirts, mugs. Go to tastelessthreads.com. It's also my personal merch is on there. Patreon supporters do get a discount, but if you wanted a simple way that wouldn't be subscription-based to support the show, feel free to go there and check it out. I think we have something for everybody there.
Yeah, and we're also trying to grow the YouTube. And if you're watching this live, we invite you to go to the youtube.com/ReviveSC2 and just click on some of the VODs, leave a like, leave a comment. We're trying to get into the lifeblood of StarCraft 2 on YouTube. There are a ton of good YouTube content creators for StarCraft 2, and for a small channel like us, it's only been around for, 9-10 months? It's not even a year,
Yeah.
I think, here for RSL. It's hard for us to kind of get into the algorithm, get this served up to folks who want to watch StarCraft 2 content.
Yeah, the industry term is like cross-pollination, right? Like the people on YouTube see us, they join us on Twitch. The people on Twitch see us, they subscribe to the YouTube. But we're still trying to really build this thing up. And, once you get that viewership to snowball, I think that's when we're going to get to a lot more people. So far, the Twitch presence has been amazing, but yeah, we're really trying our best here to build that YouTube up. By the way, guys, we are giving away the 2025 posters. We have a few left over. There is a raffle active right now. Check your Patreon DMs. And this was actually our one of our commitments we had in 2025. So the poster's finally out. We're going to be sending it out to everybody who was it an Immortal supporter and up?
Yeah, Immortal at any point in 2025, you will be getting your signed poster. And for 10 active paid Patreons of any tier, as long as you're active, as long as you're paid, you're going to be entered automatically into that raffle.
You got to look at that poster and just imagine that right above your fireplace. I mean, how nice is that going to look, right? Right next to a big blown up photo of Grandma. Oh. We're going to put it right here.
Yeah, this thing is absolutely massive. It looks fantastic.
Yeah,
and the one that we're going to have is signed by the entire RSL crew. So make sure you pick it up. It is really a great piece of StarCraft 2 memorabilia.
And that will only go up in value over time. It's kind of like Bitcoin, if you think about it. So get yours when you can. And I think we're ready to go on to our match here today. So Cure versus Rogue. What is that behind Rogue? Every time I see that, is that like one of those dip machines?
Oh, I thought you meant
Not
the air purifier AC unit that you had in there.
Yeah, I'm like, what, is that a PlayStation 6 behind him? That's crazy. So that's what they look like. Okay.
I think, I can't remember who it was I was casting with before. They thought it was like the inverter that they have at some of these gyms in Korea where you just kind of strap yourself in and you flip yourself upside down for blood circulation reasons, which I never quite understood.
I call those Batman machines. I use that.
Hang from the ceiling?
Because my spine is shaped like a question mark, but if I hang upside down, I unwind, and I gain about a foot in height when I do that.
Gotta decompress that spine.
Yeah, that's right. So we're into our game now. It's Rogue here in the bottom right and Cure in the top left. This is a best of 5, by the way. The winner moves on to face Morrow, and that's going to be a best of 7. And then after that, whoever wins there will face off against the Max Packs in a best of 7, where if whoever's from the losers brackets, let's say it's either Morrow or Cure or Rogue, if they win that best of 7, it's a reset into a best of 3. Just to keep you up to date now that we're in the game, this is the journey we're going to be on. And by the end of tonight, we are going to have an RSL Season 4 champion.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a marathon today. 3 Best of X series with a potential bracket reset as well in the grand finals, because Max Packs, of course, in the double elimination tournament, you got to be eliminated twice to be out of it. He still has 2 lives. As here in game number 1 between Cure and Rogue, starting things out, we have a very fast command center, 17 CC. CC first on the low ground here for Cure.
Yeah, so quick CC play, which we've seen Cure do, a decent amount. Both these players I'm actually super excited to see because I think they've both looked very impressive, especially Rogue this season. But, Cure's had a very unique approach to all the matchups. He's not in any way like a carbon copy of Morrow. He really has a lot of interesting ideas that he's been tinkering with and kind of marches to his own beat. And then one of the things about Rogue, and obviously this guy has been one of the greatest players ever in StarCraft 2, a world champion multiple times, but he just sort of knows how to win. A lot of players will complain about like, okay, well, this is what the meta looks like, or the matchup's too hard because there are these parameters that make it too difficult for me to get into late game or do this. But what I like about Rogue is he just sort of circumvents that. Like, he's been playing a lot more of a poppy, aggressive style. Because I think in a lot of cases he doesn't want to have some of these more drawn-out games, which I think is great. I mean, I always think back to, and I can't remember which GSL finals it was because we've had so many, but he played a very specific kind of control play the entire tournament, and then when he faced Morrow in the finals, he switched into only Roach Ravager and did this like weird mid-game stuff that we hadn't seen basically the whole season from him, and totally smashed Morrow. And it's like, okay, he must know that either Morrow struggles against this or there's something he doesn't know. But the point I'm trying to make is like he just understands how to win, whether the circumstances favor Zerg or maybe Zerg's at a disadvantage.
He's very good at mixing it up. And what we've seen from him so far in this RSL is explosive play. He's been going for a lot of run-bys. He's been doing, frankly, a lot of all-ins in every single matchup. And he's doing it on reliably a low drone count. Even when he's going up into 3-4 bases, his drone count, it might be 5-10 drones lower than you would expect a Zerg like Raynor to be at, because he just wants to have more units on the field. He wants to try and create problems for his opponent to solve. And in a tough situation, especially this late into a tournament, the pressure can get to you, even in the online format. And Rogue tries to exploit that in any way that he can. Yeah,
Rogue is, he's just an excellent player, very talented. And this is going to be a fun one. And again, with all the complaining about Protoss, who knows? Maybe Rogue goes all the way and actually takes it. It is a lot of games that they're going to have ahead. We should point out, too, like, let's say that either Cure or Rogue were to go to the finals. It is an insanely difficult road to take. And that's the burden of being from the loser's bracket, right? It has to be a little bit harder. If Max Plax plays flawlessly, which he basically did as far as StarCraft 2 series go, then he's going to have the advantage. So he's basically sitting back, watching these games unfold. But it's a real fight, a real uphill fight here for both of these guys, whoever's going to take it.
Yeah, got to get through 4 series in total to be a champion here for Cure and Rogue because of that bracket reset as well. Is Rogue going to try and get a Ling into the main base? Doesn't quite see the infrastructure. Does spot the barracks and the starport, so a little bit further up that ramp than I thought he might be there with a vision. But obviously doesn't know that there's a 2 barracks follow-up to this one from Cure. Although, I must say, it's a pretty standard opening that we have Cure doing. It's not the greediest build in the world. It's only 1 engineering bay. We don't yet have a 3rd command center. Actually, hold that thought. We have 4 more barracks coming down. I wonder if we're going to have something really aggressive from Cure in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I actually was maybe a little bit deterministic about this in my head. I thought we would 100% have another command center. You know, this was like right when you started Cassie with me after Artosis left. Remember, there's all these different iterations of the 2 command center plays.
Yeah, CC first and a Master Axe, you just send it.
but people stopped doing this. People do not do this anymore, and I think it was deemed as kind of obsolete. But Cure is going to come in here with kind of an unusual curveball of a play. And, you know, one thing about Rogue is he's very good at being greedy, which is this could punish. Let's not forget, I still think about that game from Beyond 2 days ago, where he like basically did the cheese and it failed, and then he made a command center, and then just like did an all-in. Like the command center is part of the all-in because it makes you think that the game's going to go on. So maybe this push is going to do something. But if this doesn't work for Cure, it's a really annoying rest of the game, because Zerg is usually able to kind of keep you off of a third base and slow you down and really grow and take the whole map, and usually you have to win in like a really long game from there.
All right, stim in from Cure. He does not want to allow Rogue to spot exactly what the setup is. It's one of the reasons why I think we have 2 barracks hidden behind the mineral line in the natural expansion.
100%.
Rogue is going for mutiling Baneling right now, and he's doing it on 60 drones, which is a relatively low drone count here on 3 bases. It's not full saturation just yet. And he needs to just make units basically nonstop from here on out, because there's no third command center for Cure. Cure is not trying to play a macro game. We don't necessarily have an SCV pull, but he is very committed to getting damage done right now.
Okay, so the push is going to come out. The question is going to be, how much is this, how effective will this actually be? Kind of funny to see he has the, oh my god, don't lose that medevac. Okay, that was when the tank was in. I was going to say, I think we only see Bunny ever do that, but he's going to be out on the map here. Right now, Rogue has not really been able to do any extra damage as long as these medevacs stay safe. Cure's sharking around trying to look for a position. The creep spread, by the way, is looking pretty strong.
Yeah, good creep spread right now by Rogue. He's actually coming on both sides. A stim back from Cure off creep, but the Baneling's just a little bit too quick. There's no +1, man. They're just sprinting. Just keep running. The reinforcements run headlong into the Banelings. These connections are pretty good here for Rogue, despite the split of Cure just catching him before the siege tanks were actually set up to fire. There was no splash damage from Cure. Combat shields was not done. I think +1 just finished during that engagement. But oh man, that's a lot of momentum lost here for the Terran player.
Yeah, that's rough. You know, the tanks are really the anchor in the push. And now he's got, the Banshee doesn't really help it anyway. He has one tank that's been pushed pretty far back, but you don't have any kind of foothold to really lash out at the Zerg, right? You have this sort of awkward position. So Cure's going to unsiege. He's going to try to nudge himself a little bit further forward here, but that's always when Zerg's going to punish. Oh, Rogue is so sick. He just snipes the tank. And Cure is really destabilized here. And now we're going to be in one of these games where it's going to be so hard to take an additional base. I think there are enough Lings and Banes you can basically just fight this. Oh, maybe not, actually.
Some Marines are going to survive, but so many medevacs went down there for Cure that I think Rogue is just happy to take that trade any day of the week. There is still no third command center for Cure. He needs to make this work, and cost efficiency has almost been even between these two, which says a lot because Rogue is up 13 workers right now. He has that third base. The Mutas are going to swoop in again, take out another siege tank. Cure just cannot get a foothold before this third base.
Yeah, he is going to try to come in here for another surround again. It's only Lings. I don't believe there's any Banes with this, so you got to be careful not to overextend. Okay, here come the Banes with this as well. If he can get the tank again, that would be crazy. And a command center just started. So for some perspective here, both players had to play a pretty low expansion powering style because things ramped up pretty quickly. But the third base is super important in StarCraft 2 because a lot of games are just basically, not a whole lot happens until the third base is up and running, basically. So Cure's going to be playing from a pretty tough spot. Now, he actually somehow just kind of slips through a blind spot here. They're both going to be taking huge hits at each other. The Mutas are going to be hitting these SCVs. Meanwhile, the fourth base is, I think it was either killed or denied.
Yeah, fourth base gets canceled there by Rogue. As Cure is scrambling to try and defend in the main base right now. He doesn't actually have any missile turrets set up here in the natural expansion. I'm not sure if there's any in the main, so the entire mineral line lost. 16 SCVs do fall. Marines are going to stim. Only one turret here going to guard the main base. I think there is enough production here for Cure to stabilize, but on Rogue's side of the map, all that Cure really got done was denying that fourth base. Rogue was still happily on a 3-base economy. He's still fully saturated on those bases. Now the main is starting to mine out. And these Mutalisks have gotten so much value already, not just sniping the siege tanks and the medevacs earlier on, but also this counterpunch coming in and just completely decimating the mineral lines of Cure. Down to 31 workers. 1 or 2 Mutas will fall here. That's a nice catch by Cure, but he has a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah. Cure is going to have that base up, but this is where it slows down. That 2-base failed push really makes the game pretty silent for a little bit, right? Like, Rogue can obviously fly around and try to look for any damage he can get away with here, but this is where the Zerg gets to suddenly power up. You get to really flex your position here on the map and expand everywhere. And although, gosh, as I was saying that, I kind of forgot that he did lose that 4th base. So I guess it really is just 4 base to 3 base. For some reason in my mind, sorry everybody, I thought Rogue was on 5 bases. But no, he's not. So he's still in a strong position, but it's not as strong as it could be.
Oh, I didn't even notice this. Cure had been building the armory in the engineering bay in the natural expansion, if I'm not mistaken, and I think the Mutalisks actually canceled that. So we still don't have 2-2 started yet for Terran. They just finished in the main base instead, and look at the mineral income here for Cure. He needs to get turrets set up so that he can have some kind of defense to fall back on against the Mutas, so that he can finally get back onto the map, and then he can start these upgrades. So it's been a significant delay. We're actually going to have Rogue, who was behind on upgrades earlier on in the game, getting 2-2 much faster than the Terran, and that's something you very rarely see in the TVZ.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Cure's going to move out again. It's 41 SCVs. I think he went as low as 30 SCVs when the Mutas came in there and did that damage, which, by the way, makes it a lot harder to start to take advantage of this 3rd base. Because you don't have the optimal amount of workers to even soak up the resources. And Rogue's going to go with a nice counterattack here. So this is walled off, but this 3rd base is completely exposed, and it's going to be a bit of a trading position. So SCVs, almost all of them are going to be completely decimated. And I think that Rogue probably wants to sack this base that's getting attacked down here. I think you just cancel this, cut your losses, and I think every time we see this tit for tat, I do think this is a little bit better here for Rogue, but hold on a second, because he's going to be elevating these units in the main, and this is a really hard position to kind of crack open.
Yeah, Rogue going to be pushing in right now. All Siege Tanks are on the low ground. Banelings on the top. In the main base of Rogue are cleaned up by Cure, but the entire position at the Triangle 3rd just evaporates here. The Muta's now coming into the main base. The Zerglings get the full surround on the Marines. And with basically no economy back at home, I mean, Cure is on his last legs here.
I think Cure's dead. I mean, he lost everything in the main here. There's like 1 medevac, not even enough to pick up all these Marines. And that's going to be it. GG. Oof. Beautifully done, Rogue. Looking so strong. I like what Cure was trying to do, but you can see what happens. Like, again, kind of an old build, but to do the 2-base, command center first into like powering up, trying to do a push. If it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. It's really hard to get any kind of advantage, unless I guess you were to like just turtle on your side of the map and drag the game out to like a half hour and win with exhaust play.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue just never gave him any opportunity to actually get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
The moment that Cure finally stepped on a creep with that 5 barracks push on Rogue's side of the map, Rogue just collapses on it from 2 locations. The siege tanks unsieged were not able to deal with the Banelings, and Cure basically retreated back to his natural expansion, away from Mutalisks, away from Lings, away from Banelings. And it says a lot that Rogue is able, on 3 bases with Mutaling Bane, to bully the Terran back to their side of the map so relentlessly, when Cure he's not all in, but that is a heavily committed build, going for 5 barracks on 2 CC with no 3rd command center, with no double engineering bay. Rogue just fighting so powerfully in the mid game.
Yeah, I mean, nicely done here by Rogue. In this best of 5 right now, he takes the 1-0 lead here. And we got to see what Cure's going to do this time around here. Remember that, like, Rogue's the last Zerg here. So, like, anything that Cure has right now at TVZ, he's going to bring the best of it. He's not trying to keep any ace up his sleeve for, like, the other Zerg later on, deeper in the tournament, anything like that. So I don't think we're going to see that 2-base build again, but whatever's the strongest TVZ he's got, I'm sure he's going to be showing it to us in this game.
All right, game number 2 on 10,000 feet loaded in. Cure spawning in the bottom right is the red Terran, Rogue, the blue Zerg in the top left. We're going to go for the low ground wall in here as Cure. Might have some early Reaper play, reminiscent of the way the Byun used to open in TVZ a couple of years ago. It has fallen out of style, but it's still a good build to mix in.
Right. And Rogue, you know, basically staying true to, you know, what we were talking about earlier. Very much a survivor, regardless of the state of the game, the patch, the iteration that the game is in, the meta, even the maps. He's very good at kind of understanding what the conditions are for him to win. versus a given opponent.
Yeah, he's been the only Zerg to find success in the RSL so far this season.
Right.
Raynor was eliminated in the group stages on day 1. We had Cham, who was very successful in previous seasons of RSL, also get eliminated without winning one series. And Shin as well was not able to make it into the RSL playoffs. The RSL playoffs, Rogue has been the only Zerg from day 1, and he is still fighting here on the final day of the RSL, up 1-0 now versus Cure. And he's been playing a different brand of Zerg from basically everybody. Low economy, very aggressive, fighting for domination on the map, not afraid to all in, not afraid to cut drones and bully a Cure who's 5-rexing him on 2 bases to his side of the map. It's exciting to see.
It's super cool to see. And it's, you know, I think maybe some of the ideas that Zerg maybe needed right now. You know, every once in a while, Zerg get really into this kind of like macro mindset of like playing perfectly and kind of continuing to grow and tech up. And it's like, yeah, the race is not always going to be able to do that in different moments of the patch. Sometimes it's better to be trying to, like, you know, take fights on the map or to have counterplay and stuff like that. So this is going to be the 2-Rax Reaper with the wall in here, which usually, usually has a command center behind it like we're seeing now. And, you know, there's a lot of different versions of this. We've seen ones where you get a lot of Reapers. We've seen ones where you get like 2 or 3. And as the game continues to develop, we're going to see exactly what Cure has in store for us here. The sooner you cut the Reapers, the faster you can start to make Marines. Reapers fall off in value in kind of an insane way as the game goes on. They can't really fight anything. But, you know, if you get enough Reapers out, sometimes you can put on pressure, you can get a lot of drone kills, and it can really pay off.
Rogue has been watching the Reaper positioning here in the natural expansion, waiting for a moment to sneak these 4 Zerglings into the main base. He still sees the Reapers there, so he's going to continue to keep these postured right now in the foliage.
So this is going to be a Roach rush here.
Oh, it is? I didn't even see the production tab.
Yeah, so the idea is that all of your infrastructure is at the front of your base, including the add-ons. So, and I love this, just coming down here and hitting like the tech lab, for instance. So this is a huge problem. Now the Reapers are going to come back, and that does chase them away, but that's kind of okay, right? Because he's powering up with Roaches. The Reapers are no longer scouting. So you almost like magnetically pull the Reapers back to defend.
Oh my goodness. Rogue able to get this around on all 4 Reapers.
Dude, that was tactically so perfect.
He just lulls Cure in this false sense of security because he cleans up those 4 Lings, and then Rogue knows where every single Reaper is. He waits on the top of the ramp where Cure is going to go should he decide to move to Rogue's side of the map with those Reapers, intercepts them, and now it's just a trickling of Marines from these 2 barracks here in the wall-in, from 1 more barracks in the main base. We have Stim, Combat Shield, and +1 infantry weapons. All started here for Cure. Actually, a 4th barracks even for Cure. So production-wise, he's in a good position, but none of these upgrades are going to be in time. Yeah. And already the Ravagers are coming now into the natural expansion. That tech lab potentially going down here.
Yeah, and you can dish out these biles in a way that are going to hit those SCVs as well. Oh, he just opens it up! Oh my god. This is insane. The Roaches, the Ravagers, they're all going to come through here. The bile connects on the Marines. What?
How often do you see biles connecting on Marines this early in the game? That bile does get dodged. Only 4 more Marines standing here in the natural expansion. Cure. Oh, not looking happy on the cam.
Oh my god, I need to get Blizzard on my speed dial. We got to get Zerg nerf again. They're too strong.
Rogue is looking so good. That was tactically so brilliant, going for the 4 Zerglings. As he makes this call the moment he sees the wall on the low ground. I guarantee that was not the plan going into this game. But he sees the wall on the low ground. Byun for a long time was the only Terran player who could really only make that defense work. It's been very tricky for everybody else. And Cure, he had the infrastructure to manage a defense with those 4 barracks, but he just didn't know it was coming. You want to be able to throw down bunkers. You got to get mentally prepared as well for a push like this one. The supply depot was down.
It was pretty perfect. I mean, he used the Lings. He drew back the Reapers so the Reapers can't scout. Then he set up a trap and killed all of the Reapers without ever exposing that the Roach Ravager Rush, was coming, right? So then, you know, there's an incredible amount of ambiguity. You know that there are threats there. Then he immediately comes down. He destroys the tech lab. The depot went down. I don't know. That almost happened so fast I didn't quite see. What was he trying to let something in, or what was going on there?
I think Cure was trying to get the Marine ball into a position where he can kind of like stutter step with the wall open and just start taking some damage, because the barracks, obviously they're in the back. It's hard for the Marines to really deflect the Roaches or the Ravagers at all. And so I think that was the decision that he made. He's like, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to try and control this position, but Rogue just had so much that
Yeah.
he quickly overwhelmed it. Kira was not able to lift that depot back up, and a Rogue up 2-0 now in this best of 5.
Guys, sign up for the Patreon. It's patreon.com/ReviveSC2. We need your support. This is the state that StarCraft 2 is in. We want to keep doing the RSL forever, indefinitely. And the only way we can do it is if you guys support us. So if you can sign up for one of our tiers, we would greatly appreciate it. We know not everybody is able financially to be in a position to subscribe to our Patreon, but you can always just join it. We will be emailing you with updates for the tournament and stuff like that. But if you do join, we've got different tiers that'll let you vote for players or for maps, all that. So we're really trying to build something awesome here. We're gonna take a short little break. When we come back, we're gonna continue on in this best of 5 with Rogue versus Cure. Right now, Rogue up 2-0.